back down to the dungeon. I'm Chris from Good Roads, and today, as it is spring and the snow is gone, we are going to be moving back to our roots in the channel, and we're going to get back into some skateboard making, longboard making, other warm weather, board sport work. This was the most recent experiment we did in that arena. This is a 3D printed, plaster-filled, two-part mold for a small skateboard, and it worked beautifully. The problem is that when I used it, I broke my press, and I want to be able to make a lot of boards this year, so I need a working press. So what we're going to be doing today is reinforcing the press so that it can withstand the pressure that we need to press not just big molds that distribute the force over a large surface area, but small molds as well. It's mostly the top half of the press that took the damage. It's actually entirely the top half of the press that took the damage. So the first step is just going to be to disassemble that, get the parts taken apart, assess what went wrong, and then upgrade. So let's get to it. Alright, now that we've got the top half of the press disassembled, I want to start talking about the improvements that I want to make. The first thing that I want to reinforce is this bed that receives the pressure from the top half of the press to compress the mold. Right now, it's made out of these spars, right? So they're independent pieces of wood that are just kind of screwed in place. They don't support each other, and those are held in place with some support beams that go across. They bowed, and I think we can do better. So I want to replace these with this. This is a butcher block that I made, purpose made for the press. It's the same material, it's still 2x4s. I planed them all down and laminated them together horizontally. So instead of the spars being this way, they're this way, and that height and thickness gives them a little bit more strength, and they're bonded together, which makes this one solid block. I would be amazed if this press was powerful enough to bend this. So what I have to do to finish this part up is I have to clean up the ends, and I have to make the kind of like receptacles, the slots that our horizontal reinforcement is going to go into. We're going to improve on that reinforcement as well, but let's get this piece finished up first, and then we'll move on to the next part.
So as you may have surmised, the other thing that we want to reinforce in addition to making our spars stronger are these metal bars that we're going across and holding them in place. These are made out of flat, mild steel, and they bent. Every single one of them. Not laying flat. So, you've seen them. I've already kind of been referencing these as we've gone through this build, but we're going to be replacing them with some square tube that should be much stronger. I would be amazed if these bend. I know I said before that I'd be surprised if the wooden part bent, but it could still happen. If these bent, a foot of, let's say, 1/8 inch wall square tube, 5 of them, come on dude, I don't think so. So what I'm gonna do is just dress up the ends of these, get them drilled out, and hit them with a coat of red lacquer so it matches the fire engine red of the rest of the press, and then we'll be able to reassemble it. Unless I decide to do stuff with the wiring, which I'm thinking about. I need to make sure that the holes in the frame line up with the holes that are going to go in the metal supports. So instead of trying to do a whole bunch of precise measurement and everything like that, I'm just going to jack the new baffles straight up to the frame and drill through. I'm going to need a little bit of extra height to make that work. Because otherwise I'm going to end up binding up the lead screws on those jacks. I've done it before. Yeah, it looks about right. Cool. Alright. Last time, when I was assembling everything, I held the spars in place by having a bolt that had a nut on the bottom and it screwed in. With these, since I've got such a beefy chunk of wood here, I want to attach it in more places. So what I'm going to do is we got some decking screws, and I'm just going to run those straight down through the angle iron that I have here and the square tube that I have here into the wood. And we'll have 10 of those. I think that should be plenty to keep everything all cinched down and in place. So I'm just going to drill the holes and make sure they're the right width to accept those screws. I used some hand planes to do some quick cleanup work on all the edges on the wooden part. Wanted to make sure they were nice and rounded over so that I wouldn't scratch my hands or anything on them, and also just because it makes it look nice. Once that was wrapped up, I moved over to the belt grinder and cleaned up all of the metal parts and got them ready for paint. I wiped the metal bars down with acetone, make sure the surfaces were nice and clean, and then hit them with a couple coats of red enamel. Alright, paint's dry, parts are done. Let's rig this bad boy up and put it to bed. So there we have it. All that's left is to find out if the improvements actually made it strong enough. So here is the straw that broke the camel's back, or more accurately in this case, the mold that broke the press. This was the mold that I was pressing a deck in, that when I put it in here, it bent all of my metal and my frame and everything. So if we run it again and everything holds up, we should be all right. So let's give it a shot. See how it goes. Throw some quick veneers in there just to make sure that the alignment doesn't hit the actual press. Let's see. Go. It does look like the press bowed just a little bit this way, which is okay. And I think we broke the mold. I think we properly broke the mold. Here, let's get a quick look at this. A little bit of distortion there because of the lens, but it does look like it bowed a little bit. We don't need to trust our eye. No. No, that's good and straight. All right. Well, that's great. I've got a working press again. You can be proud of a job well done. This thing is finally ready to crank out some boards, and that's good because I need to make a lot of boards this year. There's an event in August, which I will share more details about later, but we're going to be really putting this piece of hardware through the ringer, and I'm excited about it. So as always, if you like this kind of content, making skateboards, snowboards, making molds, hardware, experimenting with different kinds of materials and technologies, that's what we do here. We've got a lot more in store as the year moves on. I'm really excited about this press and getting to use it and finally start cranking out some boards. So hit subscribe, stay along with us for the ride, and until the next time,